Now, understand that this is just speculation. I'm spitballing here. Here's what I think happens. A couple of months ago, they sent a notice to us at our apartment that said, "Hey, we're gonna have somebody come in. They're gonna look around." And word around the complex was that they were trying to sell the place. Okay, no problem. So they came, they looked around, and I remember them coming in and they noted, it's like, wow, this is one of the nicest apartments. I was like, well, yeah, we try to keep ours nice. Because most people here, if you ever walk past somebody's apartment and you peek in, not that you're trying to be nosy, you just want to know. You walk past, their houses look like an episode of fucking Hoarders. It's a mess. So I think that that was a potential buyer for this complex, and they came in, they looked around, and they just took a pass. No problem. They're not going to do it. So a couple of weeks later, we got a second notice. And they were like, hey, here's your 48-hour warning. We're going to be coming in and we're going to be looking around. Don't worry, it's not you. It's, they just want to come check for, structural integrity and all of that. So we got up, and I remember we had something to do that day, didn't we? It was like a big deal. And we had to stop what we were doing.
We didn't sleep the night before.
Yeah, we had been up all night the night before, and we struggled to stay awake. Struggled. And they just didn't come. So we were like, you know what? Screw y'all. Y'all messing with my sleep. So the other day, they sent, today's Wednesday, so this had to be like Monday evening. They slid another notice through our door and was like, hey, here's 48-hour warning. We're going to be coming in and looking around. Here's your heads up. So I got up this morning at 9 o'clock because they said they were going to be starting at 9 o'clock. Here it is now. What is it, like 6?
6:30.
6:30. It's 6:30. And nobody came. So here's where I'm spitballing. Here's what I think is going on. I think this is the second time that they announced somebody was coming and we didn't hear anything. Here's why. The potential buyer pulls up. They look around the complex and they go, nope, fuck that. Nope, we don't want it. Because when we moved in 5 years ago, it was pretty. Like, it was nice. Maybe we were looking through the rose-colored glasses of newly married couple, but there were palm trees and the grass was kept up and there was no tacky ghetto shit going on outside. It was just nice. And they showed us the apartment and we looked around. We were like, wow, this is nice. We're going to make a home here. And we handed them money and like we set everything into motion. But now it's just old people in wheelchairs sitting outside smoking cigarettes. The palm trees are dead. The grass don't get cut. Like, it's a mess over here now. Now, our apartment is lovely. And I know that I sound like I have a bias when I say that, but even when the inspectors come in and they go, wow, this is a really nice home. Thank you. My wife keeps it nice in here. It might not be the best neighborhood in the world, but we keep our shit tight, But this is the second time that somebody was supposed to come and then they just don't. That's unprofessional. So I really think what happens is that the potential buyer pulls up and they look at their paper and they're like, is this the right address? Yeah, Birchwood, okay, yeah. And they get out, and as soon as they do, like some little kid with no diaper on whizzes by them, and that one old lady with the wheelchair sitting outside smoking her cigarette and they try to walk up the walkway and they can't because there's like 3 or 4 guys standing around drinking beer and they were like, you know what? Nope, we're not interested anymore. I don't think you're going to be able to sell this place. In fact, if you go far enough back in our videos, you know that this is our second owner since we've been here. Our original company was Goland Services, and while they were slumlords, they left you alone. They didn't bother you about anything. This new company took over and they promised all of these changes and like, oh, we're going to renovate everything. And it's just like, my apartment looks exactly the same. And we're almost to the point where we're paying twice as much as we used to. And don't get me wrong, I didn't think we were going to end up spending $550 forever. Like when we got into this place, it was $550. That was 2013. Like there was no way going into 2018, it was still going to be that inflation is a bitch. But it's not worth what we're paying. But the problem is, wherever you go, now they want you to make double or triple what you make. And if you don't make double or triple, you don't get in. And then you spent $30 for the security check, and that's for every adult. So that means between the three of us, that's almost $100 for you to just say, oh, never mind. So we find ourselves in this position where we're kind of stuck here for a while. You know, especially since I'm not working right now, it's just unemployment. No one's going to let you move on just unemployment. You might as well forget that. I saw something today. Trump was promising big time tax breaks for the little people. It was like a whole press conference about it. And he was like, yeah, by February, everybody's going to see more money. And I was like, yeah, okay. But that certainly would be nice around tax time. I mean, Bush did it. A couple of years ago, we all got like extra money in our income taxes. That'd be nice, but that's not going to help us move, you know? So I just think it's like that movie, The Money Pit. You ever see The Money Pit? I'm talking to you, babe.
Oh, it doesn't sound. What is it about?
This couple move into a house, and it's like it's a fixer-upper, but like they have to keep spending money and keep spending money to get it together, and it keeps getting worse and keeps getting worse. And it's like Tom Hanks, I think, is in it, and I think that's what happened. I think the company that has it now pumped a bunch of money into it, and then they were just so desperate to get people in, they would let anybody in, and then they would come in. Not only they would trash the place, they wouldn't pay the rent, and then you have to give them the 30 days to get out. So you got people who wasn't paying rent who lived there for up to 3 months before you could really kick them out, and then you got to pay to come in and have it cleaned again, and you got to come and do the carpets again, then you got to show it to people again. So just desperate to be getting any kind of money, they just let anybody in, and it bit them in the ass. Meanwhile, we're going on six years. It'll be 6 years in February that we've been in this apartment. Holy crap. Wow. That's a low. No, it'll be the beginning of the 6th year. So it's not like we've been here 6 years going on 7. But still, that's a long time to be somewhere. And next year I'll be remix. They don't want to kick us out because that's a liability to them. If you give me a notice to quit, then that's okay, there's time for me to take care of that. But if you give me an eviction notice with a date on it, you have to let me sit in here for the 2 months rent free. And they don't want to miss out on that money. And I know they don't want to miss out on that money. So they work with us when we're a little behind, or they work with us when we have an issue. So us leaving, I think we're the longest running tenants in this place. Like there's nobody else. I've seen a lot.
Honestly, it could be people on the other end because we never go over there.
But but on the other side, maybe. But on our side of things, like we've seen so many people come and go. I miss Stinker. Like I miss the days when our only problem. What? No, it was
Joshua.
It was a Stinker and Joshua.
I think it was Joshua.
Look, it was this little kid. His name was Stinker. I don't know what his real name was. But he would stand in his doorway and just pee. Like, he's a little kid. It wasn't like it was a grown man holding his dick. It was just, Stinker would just stand in the doorway and just pee. Not in a bush. Not off to the side.
He would just be looking at it like...
He's just facing you like, hey. It was like live action Baby Kids. But I miss the days when the only thing we had to worry about was, tacky people playing their music a little too loud. It's like... The rent was $5.50, and at 10 o'clock at night you might hear, some music you might not want to hear, but it eventually died down. But now for us to be paying what we're paying,
it's not worth it.
It's just not worth it. But it's kind of like that trap. Like we can leave, but where will we go with what we have?
It's not worth it. It's not worth what they're asking us to pay next year. But to get what it is worth, to get something that is worth what they're asking for here, we'd have to pay a lot more
Yeah.
because of inflation.
You know, and
So
now
it
you're
sucks.
talking first and last month security deposit. We'd have to pay to move. They want you to make 3 times as much. They want to check your rental history. And while I've been here for 6 years, I haven't always quite been on time with the rent. So it's like we're kind of trapped here in the meantime. And it would be unrealistic of me to say, hey, let's up and move, and I'm not working. Unemployment can only go so far. But once I get back into the swing of things and I'm back in the workplace, which should be easy breezy beautiful now that I've got like a year of security experience with like the #1 public transportation system in the country. Like, should not be an issue. Like, I went and got my guard car. What was that? 2015, end of 2015? And within 2 months I had that job. And that was with no experience to speak on. So I should be able to walk into any place with my experience and go, oh, yeah, shit, here you go.
2016.
Was it 2016?
Because we used to last to the tax man 2 weeks ago after Zach left. You got your guard car, and then we went through those months where we didn't work. Then we went to VF, and then you went to work for regional transit.
I wasn't there for the new year. I was there for the new year, yes.
You were there for this year. We're at the end of 2017. So all that was last year.
Huh.
You started in like August or September.
I started in September.
And then
was that September of 2016?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, so I wasn't even.
We went through a lot in 2016.
I wasn't even there the full year. That's, you know what? I know I wasn't there the year because I never got that vacation time I was supposed to get after the year. So you're right. But again, I walked into a place with no experience and landed that. So I know for a fact everything should be fine when I walk.
As a supervisor.
And I left as a supervisor. And I was laid off. I didn't get fired as a supervisor for doing like falling asleep in the truck like I would do a lot. Like, man, it was them Sundays when I didn't feel like it. I would park way in the back and I would kick the seat back. Shit, man, them was good times. Got paid $16 an hour to sleep. Missed them days. But anyway, so we're kind of in this trap. But we'll get out of it. Eventually, I'll go back to work pretty soon. And then, you know, Asia will be in school. And, you know, one day she'll be a doctor. And then I can stop working. And I can go do something that I want to do while Asia goes and she's Dr. Harris, PhD or whatever. And I'll be able to chill. So that's an investment. But, yeah, that's my theory. I think that this place don't know what to do with itself. Like, they can't walk away from it because it's kind of some money. But then they can't pawn it off on nobody because no one seems interested. So we'll see how it go. It should be interesting.